Hi, and welcome back to We Are The Hansons. I'm Maya Hanson, and today we're diving into the topic that often sparks lively debates among parents. Do we tell our kids about Santa, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny? This is such a fun and meaningful topic because it really gets to the heart of what we want childhood to look like for our kids. We'll talk about the approach in our family, why we made the decision we did, and how these little traditions, or the lack of them, fit into the bigger picture of our parenting journey. We're going to start off by talking about the magic of childhood. Let's start with this idea of childhood magic. For many families, the joy of pretending there's a Santa, a tooth fairy, or a giant bunny delivering eggs is part of the magic of growing up. There's a sense of wonder and excitement that comes with those stories. But does buying into these myths take away from teaching our kids the importance of truth? Or can it just be harmless fun? For us, this is one of the first things we talked about when deciding how to celebrate holidays and handle these traditions as us parents. In our family, we took a mixed approach. We wanted to keep the magic alive, but also stay true to our values. For example, we do talk about Santa, but we frame him as part of a fun and storytelling around Christmas. The same goes for the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny. We say things like, "It's all in if you believe." I tell my kids that all the time. That way, it's clear that these are traditions we choose to enjoy. This approach gives us room to have fun without creating confusion when the truth eventually comes out. When the questions come, this is kind of a tricky part. What we do is when our kids start asking, "Is Santa real?" Or, "Did you put that money under our pillow?" For us, this is where honesty comes in. We've always said, "What do you think?" And then followed their lead. If they're ready to know the truth, then we'll explain it in a way that celebrates the joy of giving and the fun of tradition. Here's some stuff that we emphasize. These stories are just the way we celebrate. They're not the main thing. Christmas is about family and giving and faith for us. Losing a tooth is a milestone that is celebrated. Easter is a reminder of hope and renewal. The fun characters are sprinkles. They add color, but they're not the whole dessert, if you know what I mean. Respecting other families, that's a big thing. One of the big challenges with today's traditions is navigating with other families and how they proceed with the magic. We always remind our kids that other families might believe different things or celebrate in their own way, and that's okay. It's not their job to tell someone else's kids what's real or not. It's about the respect. At the end of the day, whether or not you do Santa, the Tooth Fairy, or the Easter Bunny is a personal choice of yours. What matters most is the love and the values you're building in your family. For us, these traditions are just small pieces of the puzzle, a way to laugh, imagine, and celebrate together. So what do you do? Do you include these traditions in your family? Why or why not? Think about those questions and ask yourself those questions. One concern we hear a lot from parents is, will my kids be disappointed or miss out on something if we don't fully commit to the idea of Santa, the Tooth Fairy, or the Easter Bunny? That's a valid worry. For us, we found that kids are incredibly resilient when it comes to these things. They might be momentarily disappointed when they learn the truth. What they value more is the time, effort, and the love you pour into creating special moments. Our kids know that every holiday is a big thing. When we stopped focusing on the characters and started focusing on family traditions, like baking cookies, decorating together, or even writing funny notes from Santa, we noticed our kids just as excited, if not more. How we keep the magic alive without the myths. Just because we don't fully embrace the myths doesn't mean there's no magic in our house. Instead of emphasizing Santa, for example, we might plan a day where everyone become Santa for someone else in the family by doing secret acts of kindness. For the Tooth Fairy, we might leave a handwritten note along with money, celebrating their milestone and encouraging good dental habits. It's always so exciting to see your kids get up and they're scrambling around just looking for a note that was left from the Easter Bunny or Santa or the Tooth Fairy. And Easter becomes less about the bunny and more about scavenger hunts, decorating eggs, and focusing on what the holiday means to us spiritually. The magic isn't gone. It's just, it looks different. And the best part, it feels even more personal and intentional. You know, when we had to break the news to our kids, here's a fun one. What do you do when your kids figure out on their own and confront you? We've had a few kids come to us saying, I know Santa isn't real. You know, when they looked at us with that slight betrayal, that's okay. We've used these moments to affirm their growing independence and reasoning skills. We'll tell them, you're absolutely right. And now you get to be part of the magic for the younger kids. Giving them a new role in the tradition helps them transition from believer to creator, which makes them feel included rather than excluded. You know, when Madison found out about Santa, the Easter Bunny, and the Tooth Fairy, she didn't tell me right away. She waited, but her friend at school told her that there wasn't a Santa. And she came to me and I said, oh, we got to get Santa's cookies ready. And she gave me this look and I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, Mom, you're Santa. You know, I giggled a little bit and I said, well, now you know, and now you can help be Santa. So she giggled. You know, she wasn't really disappointed, but she knew. Her friends told her. So another reason we've approached this topic carefully is because we want our kids to understand that gifts and surprises come from people who love them, not just magical characters. We want them to appreciate the thoughtfulness behind a gift and learn how to give generously to themselves. For example, around Christmas, we encourage our kids to pick up, just a small gift for each other, just one small gift. This reinforces the joy of giving, which is ultimately what we want to carry into adulthood. Before we wrap up, let's answer a couple of questions we've received from listeners. One of the questions is, what if my kids ruin the magic for their friends? This is a big one. We've been there. We've taught our kids to respect that other families believe. If a friend says, Santa bought me this, we've coached our children to say something positive like, that's so cool, rather than, Santa isn't real. It's a great lesson in kindness and respecting differences, because you don't want to be that person, or we don't want our kids to be that person that tells their friends that. We had a little girl that is friends with Torrin and Anna tell them Santa wasn't real. But Torrin was a little believing it. Anna, she said, no, Santa's real. And I've always taught them that you have to believe. And if you believe it, that's okay. And if you don't, that's okay too. Another question that has been asked is, what age is appropriate to tell the truth? There's no magic age. There isn't. It really depends on your child's curiosity and maturity. Some kids figure it out at 6, others at 10. Follow their lead. And when they're ready, turn it into a conversation about family values, creativity, and the joy of celebrating traditions together. Because every parent that has children will celebrate different, will believe different, and will do things a lot different. I have always taught my kids that Santa is magical, and if you believe, he will come. Same goes for the Easter Bunny. Same goes for the Tooth Fairy. Them magical moments, your kids are going to always remember, and it's nothing worse, I'm telling you from experience, than getting let down that Santa is not real. But after you find out that he is not real, you start to understand why your parents told you that there was a Santa Claus or a Tooth Fairy or an Easter Bunny, because the magic was there. And that is the best feeling in the world to know that, oh my God, it's magical. Santa Claus is coming. The Easter Bunny's going to bring baskets of candy. We get to dye Easter eggs, or the Tooth Fairy's going to come and he's going to leave us money. That is magical for a child. A child loves that. You know, when they are ready to not believe anymore, that is their time, not ours. You need to continue to let them believe until they're ready to understand that he isn't real, because that magic is amazing for a child. And I know a lot of parents that have small kids that their kids don't believe anymore because their parents told them. And they don't seem like, as an outsider looking in, my kids are pretty happy kids, especially around the holidays. And when I see a child that doesn't believe in magical, mythical, whatever, Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, they don't seem as happy around the holidays as my children do around the holidays. And maybe it's just me. I've seen a couple families that's kids are little, 7 and 8 years old, and they don't believe anymore. And them kids are not as happy as my children in the holiday season. My kids are so excited. You know, they're always willing to jump in and help do cookies and baking and all that stuff and decorating. And then the kids that don't believe, they don't do that very much. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I've seen it with a couple families, and I'm just glad that my kids still believe, or at least the little ones. And Madison has been a big help. I know she doesn't believe anymore, but she has been a big help to keep that believing alive, because magical moments that have been brought into our home, my kids are so anxious, and Maddie is, Santa's coming, let's bake cookies, and they get so excited. I'm telling you guys, it is a great feeling. And I'm sure that other parents listening, that kids still do believe, I guarantee they feel the same way. It is great. At the end of the day, what matters most is creating a home filled with love, joy, and meaning. Whether you choose to embrace Santa, the Tooth Fairy, or the Easter Bunny, or take a different path, the real magic is in the memories you build as a family. If that ain't the truth. Thank you for joining me in this heartfelt discussion. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What traditions have you created for your family? Share with us on social media on We Are The Hansons page, or you can also send us an email at wearethehansonsshow@gmail.com, and we will try and reach everybody that sends us an email or sends us a message on our Facebook page, We Are The Hansons. I want to hear from you. I want to know your thoughts. Don't forget to tune in next time for We Are The Hansons. And until then, keep creating your own magic, however that looks for your family. Thank you.